It's the most expensive piece of water to cross.
Is that just the fact that everybody in the Isle of Wight knows?
I think so, yeah.
We're actually quite proud of it.
It's good to have you back.
Thanks for having us.
I think the last time I spoke to you officially on the show was when you and Hester were literally babies on like debut single bit, like interview number 4 or something ridiculous like that. And look at you now.
Look at us now.
Look at I've changed a lot.
Hester looks so different.
Yeah.
4,000 gigs later. How's festival season treating you so far in 2025?
We have played a few.
Primavera?
We love Primavera.
You're not doing Isle of Wight this year, are you?
No.
Do
Do you think, will Isle of Wight invite you back after I read your, was it Crap magazine interview where you kind of like, you threw shade at the Isle of Wight a little bit, which I was surprised by that.
I don't know. It's just too expensive to get over there. We can't do it.
It's
that's-
very expensive to
That's
get
basically
over
what
there.
you were saying in your thing. You were like, I don't like the fact I have to pay 20 quid to get across the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 20 quid is like the best. Sometimes it's like £200.
Yeah.
Really?
If
To
you're
take a
taking a car.
Yeah.
It's
It's like 10
disgusting.
minutes, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
it's
the
like-
most expensive piece of water to cross, like per meter or whatever. Per the distance that you take, it's the most expensive.
Is that just the fact that everybody in the Isle of Wight knows?
I think so,
Mhm.
yeah.
They're just like, yeah, man, it's so...
We're actually
it
quite
rinses
proud
us.
of it.
It's scarred, more like, yeah.
You live in London now, right, Rianne?
Yeah.
So does everyone else live in Isle of Wight? Or are you all split around everywhere?
Henry moved to London a couple of years ago.
Where does the base of the band feel like these days?
Mm,
I don't know.
the world,
Really?
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like we have one, I don't think.
Before we get onto Moisturizer, I actually want to kind of pay tribute to the debut because I'm not ready to let go yet, firstly. And also it's such a moment when you had that initial wave of hype with the first 2 singles. And it was brilliant because it felt like everybody got behind you. For people like us in our scene, it's not really that often that you get a band come along out of nowhere and it just goes and everybody loves it and everybody is, oh my God, this is actually really good. It's quite a rare thing. And I just felt like this is the kind of the underdogs in music winning again and proving that bands still matter and guitar music still matters. And it's just a crazy, crazy journey that it ended up taking you on. I think it's 3 years. You did like 300 gigs or something ridiculous like that. Life completely changes from 1 year to the next. When you come through that and you get out the other side, are you trying to piece together what's happened?
I mean, I think you like hit the nail on the head there where you said, as it's happening to you, because it really is just like, everything is just like happening and you're just kind of, you know, taking it day by day. You don't really have like much time for like reflection.
Have you reflected now?
You know, when we stopped touring, we weren't like, okay, let's take a minute about all those gigs that
Breather.
we played. We were like, okay, like, what are we going to play when we go on tour again? Like, let's make some tunes.
I was going to ask that actually because the new album, to me, the few times that I've heard it now in the run up to release, it just feels like you've gone into the studio or the writing room or whatever thinking, what song will make people bounce up and down? What song will make people move in this way on stage? Almost feels like you've used those 3 years there of learning how to work a crowd and then put it into this new record.
Our like relationship with the music, like within the band as well, is like, I think that's like the most important thing, because as long as like we're enjoying playing it, then that means like hopefully people will kind of enjoy it also.
So that's the key thing, just that feeling of when you're writing it, is this going to feel good to play on stage?
Yeah, and I think like we're really fortunate that, you know, like we are a band and we can kind of like write like that in that kind of like band, like traditional like band setup.
So what was it like? Where'd you go? Southwold?
Yeah.
Paint a picture of, you know, the room and the feeling and what you wanted to kind of achieve each day and how you went about it.
There was like a playroom, like a kid's playroom, and we like took the majority of the stuff out of it. There was still some like Lego and stuff around, and we just like put all of our gear in it. Some days we were like, okay, let's start at this time and put a shift in, and then other times it was like 1 a.m. and then like someone would be in the room and then somebody else would join them in the room and then a few other people, and then it was like all of a sudden like, oh yeah, we're writing again. It's really cool.
How long were you there for in total?
We did like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on.
Just feels natural. Feels
That's how we wanted it to be.
easy. Because you
Mm.
could have done the opposite. You could have booked into Abbey Road or somewhere like that and been like, all right, go. We're in the room. But that is the polar opposite of what you're describing,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Some people do like to write like that, I guess. That is a very, people do that, but that just sounds terrifying.
Did you ever try it?
No.
Mm,
You might be good at it.
Yeah, maybe we'll
Maybe.
do that for the next one.
yeah.
Or it might be an absolute failure.
It will be something.
Yeah.
So then you came out of those two sessions, right, of 2 weeks, or
Yeah.
2 or 3 sessions of 2 weeks at a time. And
That's right.
you had the entire album at that stage. Did you have excess songs that kind of fell by the wayside a little bit?
Yeah, we had too many songs. We were recording, like, even when we got into the studio and we were recording, I think we had like 16, 17 songs. Dan was like, this is too many songs. We were like, but we don't want to get rid of any. And he was like, it's not enough time. And we were like, yeah, it's enough time. Don't worry about it.
There's loads floating around the internet that you did live. That tune, Obvious. Did anything happen with that?
Yeah, we did try and record that. Like we did record
We
it.
did record it.
Didn't feel right though.
We played it so many times. It felt, although it wasn't on like first album, like that first album was 36 minutes long and we were getting booked for like hour-long sets and we were like, how do we, it was like
Yeah,
the
how
math
did you
just
do
doesn't
that?
add up. Well, we started playing songs like Obvious and like, like covers or whatever.
Lots of bad stage chat as well.
It was a bad stage.
What's the
No.
longest you managed to do stage chat for?
Oh god.
Because I think about it with links as well. Sometimes people are like, you need to fill 2 minutes here. And I'm like, talk for 2 minutes? I don't know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It's weird, like when you're on stage, the dead air feels like a really long amount of time. Like each second is like it feels like so much longer. And then you watch it back and you're like, oh, it's like totally fine. It's just literally just people in a space being alive. Like it's fine. It's just a few seconds of silence. So fine.
What do you like playing the best?
Definitely not the award shows. There's just such a strange, weird, stagnant, crazy environment. The Harry shows were actually like, even though they were stadium gigs, they were like really cozy and you felt really held because like his fans are just like so cute. They're the best.
Was there much discussion about doing the Harry tour? In terms of like, we're an indie band, is this the right look?
Yeah, it was definitely like very cool of him to get like, he had like Wolf Alice out
Yeah,
of
he
him
did.
as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did kind of think like, hang on, like how is this going to work? Like this isn't like a good fit, surely. Like they're going to hate us. They're going to be like, ew. But no, actually it actually worked really well and his fans are just so sweet and so open and
Different times now, isn't it? I kind of think 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't have had a quote unquote pop star going into indie world quite the way that people like Harry do now. It just doesn't seem like there's any barrier there anymore.
I like all different types of music. So if I can go to a festival and, go see things at like polar opposite genres, then like that's, it's the spice of life, isn't it? Bit of variety.
That's the thing with London as well, though, isn't it? Like London's such a melting pot society. You've got so much going on here.
Yeah.
Which,
sorry.
not to shade Isle of Wight, but I guess it's, I come from Cornwall. It's the same kind of thing. I wanted to get to the big city to just do all of it and see all of it.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny in some of the press that I read, you were all just like, yeah, we're just raring to get back out on the road again. We took that time off and we were like, when can we go on tour again?
We did our last gig in Brazil, I think. That was like our last one. It was our first gig in Brazil and that like finished our like 3 or 2 years of touring or whatever, really, really hard. And then we were like, wow, a break feels so good. And then after a while, it's kind of like, oh God, this break doesn't really feel that good. I really just want to like get back on the bus. Let's get back on the bus.
You turned into road dogs.
For sure. I mean, I am. I don't know so much about Rian. You like it in little bits.
I love to be at home,
Yeah.
but I also really like playing the gigs. So, what are you going to do, eh?
That's it.
Yeah.
Got to get on that tour bus.
Yeah, you got to do it. Then you get a song like You and Me at Home out of it.
There you go.
Which is, I don't know, what's that line in that song about the elastic band always pulls me back to you?
Oh, it's so nice.
That to
It's
me,
so
you know, I
cute.
listened to that and I was like, oh, this is the story of someone who's in Brazil who just needs to be home for like 24 hours just to eat like beans on toast and hug their partner.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. There's a bit of that.
It's a lovey album. It's a loved up record, especially compared to the last one.
Oh yeah, big
But-
time.
What I love about it is that a lot of the songs on it, you've approached them in a kind of skew-if way. There are songs on there like 1121. That's a very straight up beautiful love song. It's like a poem. But then there are other tunes where it's completely flipped around the other way. Like CPR is a love song in a very kind of funny way. Were you kind of scared about going down the cliche route a little bit?
For sure. Like, yeah. And I think up until we started writing this album, like I'd never even like attempted writing any kind of like lyrics that were like to do with love. I had like this rule like when I was younger to like, just not even like use the word love. I was like really, really hesitant because I just felt like there were so many like love songs out there. Like,
Is it too easy in a way? Writing about love is the most obvious thing you could do, isn't it, in some ways? Because it's a story as old as time. People saying, I love you, you love me, isn't it great?
yeah. I think also it just didn't feel like very like authentic. Like, you know, when I was younger, I don't think I really did know love. And so I just didn't really have like the inclination to, you know, it did just feel like I was just like pulling out cliche after cliche.
So when you got to the point on this record where, I don't know, maybe you wrote like 3 or 4 lyrics and they were all very overtly about how you're feeling and about being very happy, was it like this dark cloud, this like scary thing comes over and says, oh no, this is a love album. This is the thing I said I'd never do. And now I've done it.
There's that like definitely as like each kind of like love song kind of clawed its way out of the pit of songs.
The pit of despair.
The pit of despair, yeah. One of those. I definitely like would look to the rest of you guys and be like, oh my god, is this like lyric too gooey, soppy?
And what was the response?
Yeah, it's really bad. Do it again.
Get out.
Start again.
Get out.
Get in the
Who
shaky.
are
Go and write
you?
about hatred.
You are dropping this is bad. We need to get 12 songwriters. We need to get it. Yeah.
We need to, yeah.
No, we just like, this is sick.
It just feels like, Wet Leg are in a very loved up place at the moment. And that's different to last time in terms of just the feel of the record, which is important because you want to move on. You don't want to write the same thing twice.
Yeah, precisely. Onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
Tell me the story of, is it Don't Speak that Hester wrote about your relationship, but there's a weird kind of twist in it, right?
Yeah, she also said that she'd never written a love song before. And I was really, no, I wasn't upset. But I've written her a few. And,
Come on, you can vent.
yeah.
It's fine.
She's like,
Let it out.
she wrote me a song from me to her, which is really cheeky.
And at what point did she present it to you? Privately with the rest of the band?
Well, she did. No, she played me like a demo.
Did you notice?
You know, like the first time if you listen to like a record all the way through, you're like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to actually listen to the
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
You can't really get away from that. So I guess it was just like a few of those. And then I was like, hang on a minute. Yeah,
It's very sweet.
yeah it is.
Good to chat with the two of you about this brilliant new record. Pokemon, another track on it that I love. The reason I like Pokemon, weirdly, it reminds me of Pink Pantheress in a really odd way. It's like the top line is so like bubblegum pop. It skips along really, really easily.
Yeah.
Where's that song set?
It's weird. This is going to sound really confusing because I feel like Pokemon actually very much lives in the world of the video world of
Oh, I like
Catch-
that.
Wait, what's it called? CTF. Oh my god, it's so confusing.
CTF. CPR.
CPR. Sorry, we like always
We
abbreviate.
actually,
We always
they're not our
abbreviate.
songs. We don't, yeah.
I don't know who I am.
We didn't write them.
No, don't know what this album is.
I like that though. That's quite funny. So you have like video world bleeding into a different song.
Yeah,
That's fun. You never told me that before.
you never asked.
Yeah.
Your songs do seem to have a world though, especially in line with the visuals. There's always interesting stuff going on. There's always worms and whatever. And
We've just put no effort into making that happen.
Like a lot of it is us just like hanging out and playing and like casting the visual net and see what you're gonna like pull in.
I remember the last time we met at the playback, you were talking about, I can't remember which video it would have been now, but you were just so excited to go back and finish editing the video.
Yeah, I love a little edit hole. You won't see me for days.
Who's your dream video director to work with?
I don't know. We don't really work so well with directors.
Yeah, you tend to keep it kind of in-house and with friends, don't you?
I think we've kind of like worked out that's kind of like how we need.
Does that extend to other things as well? You know, going back to the recording of this album, doing it fairly, not cheaply, but like you did it back to basics, quite raw style, nothing too showy about it. Have you learned along the way that like, if you throw too much money at something, more people get involved and maybe you lose a little bit of creative control over it?
The more money you spend on something, the more difficult it is to like, I don't know, like if we go out and like shoot a video together and it's not any good, we just throw it in the bin. We haven't told anyone about it. No one's asking for it.
Yeah, actually, that's really true. We didn't tell anyone that we were shooting that video.
Which one?
And in fact,
the first one.
Yeah, Catchy Fist. In fact, Rianne didn't even tell us that she was shooting a video. But I called up Alice and I was like, I think that Rianne's like scheming to shoot a video. I think this is supposed to be the video. She said she's coming down and we're gonna like just try some stuff and have some fun. And Alice was like, yeah. Like, yeah. It's the same thing like you were saying earlier. You could have gone to Abbey Road or blah, blah, blah. Like maybe we could have, but there is something about that. Like some people would call that pressure. I wouldn't really call it pressure. I'd almost call it, I don't know. Like it's like commitment or like it's just something you kind of, I think we just work better when we're like, when we feel like we're just like being authentic to ourselves, the idea sort of gets realized almost as quickly as possible and that we can throw it away if we want to throw it away. And there's just no worries.
I bet the first time you went into the studio, well, I mean, was it even full band or was it just the three of you at that point? I can't even remember. Like for the debut album, it was a different dynamic then, wasn't it? And you probably would have gone into that studio with Dan and been like, what do we do here?
Literally.
Because you don't know.
I was so terrified and I like admired Dan so much just from like, you know, sitting at home on the Isle of Wight, like reading like music blogs and like hearing about
the windmill. Yeah.
The Wonderland. I was like, oh my God, we're going to be making a record with Dan Carey. Like, obviously, like, he's really nice and he's really chill, but I was just like, we should not be here.
Yeah. In your head, he's like a giant.
Yeah.
You go to the windmill and you're like in awe, like it's Alice in Wonderland shit.
God, it smells so good in here.
Did you have expectations for this record when you were writing it? I'm guessing for the debut album you didn't because you just had no idea how it's going to do. But now you're in a different position as a band. You know, I don't know, you know that people are going to turn up and watch you and you're going to get booked on certain stages at certain festivals and things like that.
Yeah, it was really wild, like when we went into writing because, you know, for the first time we were able to just be like, oh, like, this is our jobs and we've just like, you know, like we've got the resources to be in this house for like 4 weeks, just being like totally self-indulgent and just like, oh, we're just going to make some little songs.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go on tour with them. Like it's just definitely like different, like, different headspace. Like, I don't know.
Quite a big moment that. Because I guess what you're saying effectively is that there's a bit of imposter syndrome before that moment, and there probably still is now because that's the kind of thing that I think every new artist goes through and it probably takes years to get to grips with it. But that's a step of kind of chipping it away and saying, actually, we do belong here. We do have a right to do this. We've earned it.
Maybe our like position as a whole, as a band, is to just like constantly be like surprised that people still want to listen to it. And so because of that, it's like I don't know if it's like the imposter syndrome like goes, it's like you turn the imposter syndrome into something else, and it's kind of like a way of like not being like, yeah, we're here and people are going to listen to our rock music and like we're amazing. Everyone's telling us that we're amazing. That means that we are amazing. Instead, it's just like, haha, let's do another one.
We get another
I like
go?
that one. Let's do another one.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, are you sure?
This is like the position that we find ourselves in. So
Yeah.
there's no point in agonizing over it because it is what it is, and for whatever reason, we get to do what we do and make the nice songs.
Doesn't seem like the wet leg way to agonize, to be honest. You've always been, you know, you wear your hearts in your sleeve on stage, in interview. You're probably not that different, you know, in private life at home, if not exactly the same. And I just think it's harnessing that kind of energy, isn't it? And like any nerves that you might have about, oh man, how are we going to do this again? You just turn it into, we get another go. No way. All right, let's go. Let's see what happens.
It really did feel like, you know, when we finished touring, like that was it. That was the part of the life where we toured. Just like when you finish school, you're like, okay, I've finished school. I'm not going back to that again. Like, it just feels like a chapter that is like, no, like, and technically it is a closed chapter because that was album 1. But like the fact that we get to do it all again for album 2 is just like, yeah, it's wild.
It is wild. Permission to like take up space and take up time and be like not wait for other people to tell it. Like, you know, you were saying earlier, you know, you'll tell us when to go home and you'll tell us when to do that. It's like now I think we're sort of like pushing, trying to like see how far we can go with like, no, we're telling you what we're going to do.
We're not doing that. We're not doing the Apple Music interview.
We're not doing that. We're going to do, yeah.
It's a brilliant story. Like I said at the start of the interview, it's amazing what you did 3 years ago. The fact that you didn't implode, I applaud it because there's a hell of a lot of pressure and a lot of gigs, and it must have been tough at times, but you got through it. And not only that, you were really excited to make album number 2. You know, well done. It's tough. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well done to you.
Well done to you too.
Thank you. And well done to you, man.
You've got like 300 more gigs to play now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Starting imminently. There's like pretty much every day in the summer you got tours coming up, and then off to America, I think in September or something.
Yeah.
Long old tour.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
Thanks for
literally
coming
like
in.
2 months, isn't it? Oh, we're finished. Thank you for having us.